You've got this incredible talent of just capturing a snapshot of a person's life, and I think People Like Us is another example of that on the album.
Well, I was up at the Songwriting Shack in Queensland, and we've been working on, you know, when you go songwriting up there, people don't realise how hard you go. Like, you work an 18-hour day, you know, and your mind is, you're just so buggered, you know, because you're just constantly thinking, you know, song titles, and you know, as an artist, you know in your gut that if we don't have any hits on this record, you're gone. Like, it's all over. So I was feeling a bit fatigued, and I went and had a bit of a lay down. And while I'm laying down, I can sort of hear Garth and Matt Scullion playing away on the guitars, and they were working on this song, People Like Us. And anyway, so I got up, and said, no, not like that, like this. No, we mucked around with it a bit, and yeah, it snapped into place.
What about the title of Planet Country? When did that pop into your head?
That was up in Western Queensland. We were doing a fundraising show up there, a little town called Yearwood, and we went out there to raise money for a defibrillator, a piece of life-saving piece of medical equipment that the Bush Medical Clinic needed desperately. And population 27, 3,000 people turned up to the show. The little town had its first traffic jam in its entire history, and somebody said on the night, Yearwood, centre of the universe, and the centre of the universe, Yearwood, that just hit a part of me, you know, that I thought, well, I'll use that in a song one day, and Planet Country became that song.
You're talking about Dirks there before, and you've had the opportunity to work with some amazing people over the years, including Slim Dusty. You know, recording with Slim Dusty, that must have been, you know, a marvellous time for you.
Mate, that was like legendary, you know. We recorded at the same studio where we did the Boys from the Bush, which was 98 Glebe Point Road, and it was Cole Joy's studio. Went in there, and I remember when Slim arrived, he just arrived in a taxi on his own, walked across the road, and some old homeless person saw Slim coming, and this homeless person only had one leg and they were on crutches. I've never seen a man go so fast on a pair of crutches before. He bolted up there and he produced this guitar for Slim to sign. And anyway, Slim signed the guitar and went into the studio, and we recorded Leave Him in the Long Yard.
Wow. That homeless guy, if he ever gets near a computer and can put that thing up on eBay, he probably won't have to be homeless anymore.
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing story, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he'd even have the guitar with him at the time.
Yeah. No, it was really huge of Slim, because I was just a young kid from Albury, wet behind the ears, and here I am standing in a studio next to the king of country music, and they just set up 2 mics. They put a Perspex screen between us, and we did it live in the studio, and man, that's a song I've been singing ever since then. Yeah, it's a sort of bit of a way of paying tribute to the king.
Well, the king, exactly. What exactly was Slim's legacy?
Well, it was his music, you know, and so, you know, Slim lives on, you know, in all of our hearts and minds, and the music is just, you still feel his presence in the country music industry is probably as strong as when he was living.
Is his career something that you'd aspire to follow down the path of, like get into your 80s and still be out there performing?
Well, I don't know if I'd ever be able to to do that. That's why I say there's only one king. He's the man, but he sure has provided a lot of inspiration and a lot of great music, and it's great to be able to make music, and there's a whole lot of different influences that you draw upon when you're writing and you're recording. But back there, in your musical heritage, there's the Slim Dusty factor, and it's good to know that it's there, and from time to time you draw on it.
Who makes you starstruck?
Good-looking girls. Yeah, good-looking women.
Good-looking women with platinum albums behind their careers as well. Trisha Yearwood, you did a duet with.
Yeah, Garth and I were starstruck when we recorded with Trisha Yearwood. She came into the studio and to record a song with me, Gunda Windy Moon, on the Hacktown album. And just hearing Trisha sing, you realise that this is not just a singer. This is one of the all-time great vocalists that are, you know, on the planet. And so she blew us away. Incredible.
Yeah. Back to the point where, you know, we talk about my favourite songs off the album, not yours. Dirt is a song I love off this record. You know, it's a real dirty, bluesy, you know.
Yeah.
That's down to the ground Lee Kernaghan, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you something, mate. I did a show in Adelaide, I suppose it must have been a year ago. We were coming back late at night, and maybe it was because I was drinking at the time or whatever, but we parked on the way back to the hotel next to a sex shop. Now, I didn't go into the sex shop, right? Whatever people tell you, just don't believe it. But next to the sex shop is a shop called Dirt, and they sell all of this kind of raunchy gear, I guess. But I just liked the title, Dirt, and I wrote that one down. And when it came to songwriting up in the shack, we started saying, okay, we've got to write a song about dirt. What's it going to be about? And obviously, it's four-wheel driving, swags, girls, and I can't wait to make the video clip.
No, so that's obviously going to be a single.
I hope so. I think it'll good chance.
And I would imagine a great song to perform live.
Yeah, well, the song, you know what really got the song rocking and grooving was Gibson Les Paul Gold Top plugged into a little Fender Princeton amp. And it's so grungy and just dirty, and this thing happens. And Matt Scullion, who co-wrote the album, he's got this thing with his guitars where he tunes down a whole tone. So he would have played that in E, but it was coming out in D, and it's fat. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. On the album, you make mention of Tommy Kirkwood. Tell us the story of Tommy.
Yeah, well, Tommy was a little fella that I'd come to know over the years, and we'd talk often on the phone, but he was trying to fight the good fight against this damn cancer, and it was really wearing him down. And so I would have I spoke to him quite a lot in those last few months of his life, and I was making the album at the time, and I'd sing him, you know, songs over the phone because I knew that he may not be around when the album came out. I was hoping he would be, but anyway, so we had all these great times on the phone, and he loved I Milk Cows. He said, Lee, I just love that, I love it. And he called me the day before he passed on, and little Tommy Kirkwood, he lost his life, lost his battle with cancer the day before he turned 18. Real country boy through and through. So we dedicated that song to him on the album.
Yes, it still keeps coming back to that song, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The one he didn't want to put on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been good to catch up with you and hear the story of the new album, Planet Country by Lee Kernaghan. We might hear a song. Might even be that one. Lee, thanks for joining us here at Undercover.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Beauty, mate. Ripper.